All right, so I'm gonna start with the drums here. When I was making this track, it's inspired by Gesaffelstein. For the clap, I know I wanted it like huge, you know? So for the clap, this is what it sounds like. The main clap is this bad boy right here. It has that tail on there. That really bleeds through in the mix on purpose though. Basically 4 different layers. The top layer has these accents. Right? Boom, and then I just layered a higher and then a mid without this top piece. Sounded good, but I wanted that top. Boom. That's the clap. And then we'll go to the hats. Hats, very simple. I used this, my boy D-Rose, I was producing with him, and it's really easy to just switch through hi-hats when you do it in the MIDI. And then once you find one you want, if you really want to put it in audio, you can do that as well. But this is the hat. I got this from Shadow Tech House sample pack. Then these DTO2. Boom. Nice. Really short. It's very subtle in the mix. You could hear it, but it's not like standing out in any way because I did want to leave room for the shaker and then these hi-hats that I made. These bad boys, this is like, it's kind of what makes this. I felt like these hi-hats drove the track. Right, it literally just goes like that all the way through. And then on the last drop, just made it a little more crazier. Nice, that's it. Very simple. DTO2 as well. It's just a really good drum sample pack if you guys want that. And then this shaker. This is pretty subtle. It like just filled up space in the mix and made it sound more full. Made the drum sound more full. And then on the ride, for the first drop, I just added 2 of them out of the 3. Right? So they're stacked. It's that one. And then together. So the sample is already like panning left and right. And then this top one. And then this one just stays still in the middle because it's the main one. This is kind of just like an accent over the top. Cause some movement. Just because the track is so like repetitive, we added some nice movement. And then this bottom ride, same thing. It's like more of an accent that I like pitched up high. But yeah, basically that's what this sounds like together. This last drop, I kind of just want to be pretty chaotic, to be honest. And I achieved that through the drums. There's a lot of like high frequencies, which I mean, I probably could have took out a couple. But it is what it is. Track's already out. Yeah, basically, those are my drums. I'm going to go over the kick and the bass in a different video. And then with it all. I also did a couple like panning stuff to like make it sound bigger and wider, so it's not all in the middle, because the middle I left for the synth. Bold move, but it's all good. Also, with my drums, honestly, it's like a lot of just very simple stuff, just widening and EQ. This one had decapitator, some saturation on that big clap. And then hats, same thing. Literally just Pro Qs. This one didn't even have anything. These two, which was definitely on accident. But whatever, it sounded good. Let's see. It definitely could have helped. I'm not gonna lie. This one didn't even have an EQ. Cool. So for the effects, there's kind of a lot of effects in here. I'm not gonna lie. We'll actually go to the first drop because this has more. And then everything else is the same. Okay, we got just our normal riser group. for like white noise, whatever. It's like cashmere, random stuff. Boom, easy money. We got our snare build. Nice snare. Got some big reverb, a lot of processing on this thing. It's just EQ, boom. Probably could have added more low end, whatever. And then just compressors, like just side chaining. And then reverb, put it on the track this time. It just sounded better. And then multi-band compression, utility for mono. Kept it in mono, actually, because everything was all over the place as well. There wasn't much in the middle, so I had to like sacrifice some stuff. And then endless smile to the end. Give it that tail. And then we got like just impacts throughout. Just clap impacts. That was also here on the first breakdown, the only breakdown. Oh no, this is in the middle of this drop. Money, and then we're gonna put them all together. This is this is like the little riser that I have. In context. That's where I introduce like the ride. Introduce another layer. It's a little dramatic. And then we have a little impact here. I'm just gonna play this one solo right here. Big throw delay at the end of that. And then this. That's just no throw delay. Kind of just goes, fills up space. These bad boys. We did it again. Here, let me get over these. This is the impacts. Nice. Nice. This is all like cashmere. And then that same one from beginning. Put it in context. I didn't want it to tail in super hard because there wasn't like a real breakdown. This is still the breakdown, but there's still a lot of elements in there, you know? So I didn't want it to be that busy on a breakdown, just so people knew it was a breakdown. So we put this into context. So yeah, basically all the effects right there, baby. All right, for the low end, it's so fat. This is basically what it is. Very simple bass line, and the kick, I think that's pretty simple as well. It's just 2 layers. Not a lot of processing. There's a lot of processing on the bass. So I made this track honestly in like 3 hours, 4 hours. Just kind of went in the flow, kept it simple. So for the bass line, very simple bass line. It stays like that the whole time, and then I add this. Just to add some variation. Honestly, it created like a nice variation to it without even changing a note. You could really feel it in the club with that bass like going up and down. For the processing, it's just Serum. I think this is just from Evo Sounds Dominator Pro Q3. This is my EQ, cut out 28 till 28 hertz, and then cut off at 194. Boosting 124, And then the fundamental kick frequency, I'm taking that down like 4 dB, just so the kick could bleed through the bass. It's a huge bass heavy song. Probably could have got away with changing the kick or changing the bass, but I don't know. I just kind of was married to it when I made it. Utility, mono, obviously, and saturator to give the bass more harmonics so you could hear it. And then LFO tool, pretty average dip for a bass line. I could work on this forever if I wanted. The endless smile, I think, is only for like the end here, just so it didn't even do much either. So could have got away with not having that in there. Then we got our kick. Boom. 2 layers. Bottom layer, top layer. Boom, boom. This is the bottom. Literally so simple. And I just added a top. You can't really hear it in the mix, but like that tail you could hear. Gives it a nice little texture. Up here, auto filter, and then another EQ. Just like, this is where I boosted. It's like really bleeding through there. There's already a lot of high end in this track, so clipping a little, but it is what it is. That was the low end. All right, for the synths, this is honestly the best part of the song. This is what inspired me the most. This is kind of like, this track is inspired by Gesaffelstein, and he used like really big, weird sounds, you know? Not necessarily like this, but I'm not Gesaffelstein, so it's not gonna be like that. So I just started playing around with tracks, playing around with sounds. Ultimately, I went to Pigments and found this bad boy. Let me play that for you. A lot of processing. So Pigments, really good synth. This is one of their sequence things. So basically from scratch, it's just one of the stock frequency, like sequence patches that they have. Took out some highs, took out some lows because the mix is really busy. Blown speaker with the dry wet all the way at the bottom about. Some saturation, like without. Really like stood out. LFO tool, sidechain, some compression. Just like -2, -3. Track spacer. Let's go into the vocal. So it's basically just for the builds. Utility is just gain knob, so I don't have to like automate the actual volume, and it's easier for like the mixing mastering process. Little altar boy, that's for this build right here. I kind of made all the elements at this part pitch up and then pitch back down. Auto filter. If you don't turn your auto filter off, and even though it's all the way down or it's all the way up, it is still taking out frequencies. The more you know. Shout out Taylor for that one. And then endless smile. Can't go wrong with endless smile. Boom, and then auto filter. Same thing. This is on right now. See, I already told you. I should have turned it off. Yeah, so that's it for that one. And then I made this saw lead in Serum 1. Very basic lead. A lot of like automation, processing. Kind of had to do a lot of automation and processing. Well, more automation, more so because it's such a steady track, repetitive track. You gotta add some variation somehow. So this is what this synth is. Super basic. This is not even moving, you know. I had it moving, it didn't work. So yeah, I bring it in here and kind of just bring it up all the way to like the end until this break. Now it's in full effect. Also, I stacked them. So I was just playing around and I'm like, you know, like what if I just duplicate it and it sounded really good, really full. And then with. So this one I have steady going down, and then this top one I have panning through Pan Man until the drop. I don't do it after the drop. Right? And then on this, the drop, it's I layered them, took it out of mono, and then this is on that pitch part. And then right before this part, I have it fuzzy. So honestly, in context, well, both of them together. It's really busy. Like the whole last drop is so busy, but I kind of liked it, and it bangs in the club, so I don't really care. But yeah, basically the synths. I'm gonna add this. Actually, this is just a vocal that I chopped up. It's just going bop 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 bop. Made it wider. Utility for gain control, and then LFO tool, Pro Q3. Very simple auto filters. Right, and then this is a vocal. So these are Portuguese vocals. It was in the Brazilian funk section of Splice. I didn't know anything of what it said, but I sent it to a friend that actually speaks Portuguese, and she translated it for me. Yeah, it's like pretty like rappy like stuff. I don't know. It's like about a girl dancing and her booty's all out and stuff on the dance floor. Yeah, I didn't know what it said. I just think it fit the vibe really well, and it did. Yeah, shout out Julia for actually confirming, and that's why I named the track All Out. This is the bottom part of the vocal. And then that boom, that's right there. But yeah, basically. And then this bottom part is like slang. She didn't really know what it meant, but that is the synths and the vocals. I'll see you in the next video. Psych. That is it. That's a full breakdown of the track. Now let's listen to this drop, this last one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next breakdown. But I don't know. Yeah, probably do another breakdown. Move Your Feet is probably next.